Saunders couldn't be here again today, and I did bring my cutie patootie opossum Hondas. Now, you remember I told you he don't have any hair on his tail. It is long and pink and naked, but it ain't always been like that. And today I'm going to tell you why Opossumondus has no hair on his tail. Oh, I got a picture I took of Opossumondus one day out on our porch. Isn't he just the cutest patootie you ever saw? I just think so. Well, let me tell you. One day Opossumondus was sitting on the swing, and he was just thinking and swinging, and here comes old Skunk pussyfooting by, and Opossumondus said, "Hi, Skunk." And Skunk said, "Hi, Opossumondus." You see, they were just waving friends. They weren't playing together friends, and old Skunk just pussyfooted on by, swishing that big, thick, black and white tail. Well, this got Opossumondus to thinking about tails. He was swinging and thinking and swinging, and he was thinking about tails the whole time. He was thinking about skunks having big black and white bushy tails, and foxes having big bushy red tails, and even hares having a fluffy powder white puff tail. And Opossumondus thought, well, my tail is just long and pink and naked and funny looking. Well, the next thing I know, Opossumondus, he wasn't swinging on that porch anymore. He came in to me and he said, "Mama, why don't I have any hair on my tail?" And I looked at him and I said, "Well, honey, it hadn't always been a naked tail. You see, there's an old story. Yes, it is. A long time ago, Papa Possum, he's your great-great-granddaddy, he had a fluffy powder puff tail just like hair. All possums had tails just like hares back in the day. Now, Papa Possum, he was a smart fella. He could fool animals that were bigger than him. He could do it just by playing dead. Well, he was a great storyteller too, that Papa Possum, and sometimes even though he was pretty smart, he got himself into all kinds of trouble. And I'm going to tell you about one of those days. You see, Papa Possum was sleeping in his bed, and he was just as peaceful as he could be, and all of a sudden he heard, "Rrrr." Well, he got up and he said, "What's that? Who's that? Is that you, Stomach? Is that you talking and groaning and kicking up a ruckus?" And his stomach said, "Rrrr." And Papa Possum said, "Why, you are one hungry stomach. What's that you want? Persimmons? Well, persimmons you'll get." Now, let me tell y'all what a persimmon is. It grows high up in a tree. It gets about that big when it's ripe, and it tastes so sweet and juicy, just like a grape. Well, Stomach was wanting some persimmons. So Papa Possum headed down the lawn. He was looking high, and he was looking everywhere for some persimmons, and he ran across his dear friend, Hare. Well, they started jabbering and confabbering, and Papa Possum said, "Now, Hare, what you been up to today?" And Hare, he said, "Whew, nothing now. I'm so tired. Why, I've been working hard. I planted and watered and worked in my garden." Papa Possum said, "I sure wish I would have planted me a garden. My stomach is wishing it too. You hear that rumbling, Hare? Why, my stomach is wanting some persimmons." And Hare said, "Persimmons? That sounds good to me too. And I'll tell you what, when persimmons are ripe, they're sweet as honey. And I'll tell you another thing. I know who has some. Why, Bear. Bear planted him a whole mess of persimmon trees." Well, Hare wasn't so good at climbing trees. You see, he's got a different kind of foot than possums do. Remember we talked about those claws last time? But Hare was good at cooking up a plan. That means he's good at tricking people. Well, he figured he could get himself some persimmons and make Papa Possum do all the work. So this is what Hare said. "You know, Papa, I'm sure old Bear would not mind if you took some of those persimmons. You could climb up that tallest tree, and you could just throw those persimmons down to me, and then I'll take half and you can have half. Do you think that's a good deal?" Well, before Hare finished talking, Papa Possum had just taken off lickety-split, and Hare was right behind him. And sure enough, soon Papa Possum was perched up in the highest branch of the tallest persimmon tree, and he was just gobbling up persimmon after persimmon. Now, Papa Possum asked his stomach then, "What you think now, stomach?" Well, stomach didn't say anything because it was so happy. It was full of persimmons. And in between bites, this is what Papa Possum did. He was singing a song. Now, boys and girls, I got to tell you something. Papa Possum, he can't sing good at all. Not like Mr. Ransom teaches y'all to sing. This is what he was singing. Persimmons, persimmons, high up in the tree. Well, there's plenty enough for stomach, and there's plenty enough for me. Well, Hare, he was not happy. He said, "Hey, Papa Possum, we made a deal. You better throw those persimmons down to me." Well, Papa Possum threw one, and he gobbled up 3. And he kept on singing, "Persimmons, persimmons, high up in the tree. Well, there's plenty enough for stomach, and there's plenty enough for me." Well, Hare was getting madder and madder, and he said, "Papa Possum, we made a deal. Come on now." Well, Papa Possum threw down 1, and he gobbled up 5. Well, that was plenty enough for stomach. Hare was really mad now. He said, "All those persimmons for Papa Possum and hardly any for me, and he's going to be sorry about that because we made a deal." And Hare hightailed it down the road. Now, who do you think he ran into on that road? Sure enough, it was Bear, and Bear was coming home. So Hare said, "Hey, Bear, you hear that singing? Why, I think maybe somebody's up in your persimmon tree." And then Hare skedaddled on home. Well, Bear stopped, and he listened, and then he took off just a growling and a snarling. Well, Papa Possum was singing so loud, he didn't even hear Bear coming. Bear took a hold of that tallest tree, and he started to shake it, but Papa Possum just hung on tight with those sharp claws. See, there's his tail right there. Looks just like a little bunny rabbit tail, doesn't it? And he just kept on singing, "3 more persimmons, and then I'll go." Bear shook that tree harder, and Papa Possum just hung on tighter, and he kept on singing, "Just 2 more persimmons, and then I'll go." Well, Bear gave that tree a ferocious shake, and Papa Possum held on for dear life, and he just kept on singing. He said, "Just 1 more persimmon, and then I'll go." Bear was mad. He grabbed a hold of that tree, and he shook it so hard, why, you would have thought that whole earth was just falling apart. And finally, down come Papa Possum and all those persimmons. As soon as Papa Possum's feet hit the ground, he took off running because he knew Bear was mad. And I'm going to tell you what, Papa Possum was fast as a racehorse, but Bear was fast too. And he was getting closer and closer to Papa Possum, and he said, "You better stop, you persimmon-picking possum. I'm going to teach you a thing or two." And just as Papa Possum was about to just get right under that fence, Bear chopped down on that fluffy, white little tail. He put his teeth around it, and he was not going to let go. Why, Bear pulled one way, and Papa Possum pulled the other way. Why, it was a tail tug-of-war. And finally, it went pop. Papa Possum was free, and so he just kept right on going all the way home. And Bear, well, he was stuck back there at that fence with a big old mouthful of white furry tail in his mouth. And believe it or not, his teeth had pulled and stretched Papa Possum's tail until it was the longest, skinniest, ugliest, nakedest, pinkest tail you ever did see in your life. Now, stomach, you don't like persimmons too much anymore after that. And you would think Papa Possum would be kind of embarrassed about that naked pink tail, but Papa Possum was a smart little old man. He always could make something good out of something bad. Why, he can use that tail to hang on a tree, and he can use that tail to write him some letters. Well, that tail's even good for rounding up little runaway children. So ever since then, that's what has happened to all possums. They're just born with the longest, skinniest, neckedest little tails. Now, I've got me a friend named Miss Sage. So, Miss Sage, what I want you to do is I want you to grab that cancer's tail, and I want you just to shake it, and I just want you to say, you get on out of here. Yes, that's what I want you to do, me and a possumonist. And I want to tell you something else, Miss Sage. I've got some friends right here from North Point Christian School, and they've got something that they want to say to you, too.
Stay strong. No one fights alone.
Bye, Sage.